Hey everybody, and Tony here with a review of Piotr Illich Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, headlined by the Russian National Ballet, which I saw last night at the Urania, Berlin. Now, Swan Lake, much like Tchaikovsky's other two ballets, Sleeping Beauty and The Nutcracker, is not only very well known for its fairy tale elements, even though it's an original story, but it's extremely well known for being a major tune fest, especially when you have such wonderful melodies like the waltzes, the pas de deux, the pas de trois, and of course, the waltz of the Four Little Swans. This ballet has been ingrained into popular culture, so much so that there has been parodies, there has been homages, and of course, some adaptations, most notably the 1994 Richard Rich animated film, The Swan Princess, the 1981 anime film, Swan Lake, and of course, the 2002 anime series Princess Tutu, in which a lot of elements of Swan Lake were added into this particular anime. The basic plot of Swan Lake goes like this. It is Prince Siegfried's 21st birthday, and all the nobles, princes, princesses, kings, queens, and everyone else involved in royalty and in terms of nobility are invited to his party. He is then given a crossbow from his mother, the queen, as a birthday gift. We then cut to the evil sorcerer Rothbart, who has then kept a multitude of white swans as his prisoners. Prince Siegfried is then out on a hunting trip where he spots one of the swans, and to his astonishment, she turns into the beautiful young princess Odette. Odette then tells Prince Siegfried that she and a lot of other young maidens have been captured by Rothbart and have been imprisoned as swans. And it's up to Prince Siegfried to make a vow of eternal love to Odette so that the spell can be broken. Prince Siegfried and Princess Odette part ways, and we then cut to his castle where there is a procession of princesses who want Prince Siegfried's hand in marriage. In storms, Rothbart appears with his young daughter Odile, who is disguised as Odette, and thinking that Odile is Odette, Prince Siegfried proceeds to make the vow of eternal love. Odette sees this, and Prince Siegfried is utterly tricked by Rothbart, and Odile spurns his love. The final act has Prince Siegfried trying to reconcile with Princess Odette, and he tries to beg for her forgiveness. However, Rothbart is hot on their tracks as he wants to attack Prince Siegfried, and there was only one solution to break the curse. In order for Odette to be freed, he then sacrifices his own life, but Odette follows. And once the curse is broken, Rothbart is defeated, and Prince Siegfried's and Princess Odette's souls ascend to heaven. Now, speaking of the ending, even though this is mainly a tragic ending, there have been other versions of this ending, like having Prince Siegfried and Princess Odette live happily ever after, with Rothbart finally defeated. And in terms of the tragic ending, we also have Odette dying in Prince Siegfried's arms, and even vice versa, and even Rothbart kidnapping Odette once again to be kept as his prisoner, along with a sorrowful Prince Siegfried. And there has been a lot of interpretations of how the ballet ends. Whether the story ends tragically or happily, there is no doubt that Swan Lake is a tale of not only love and romance, but also redemption, as Prince Siegfried makes his final sacrifice to save Odette, and she also sacrifices her life for his. Now, going into the production, I have to say that it is quite lovely. The backdrops may be simple, but they were quite elegant, and the costumes were really gorgeous on all of the dancers. Each of the costumes looked colorful, vivid, and simply put, magnificent. So I'm not going to mince words here about this production of Swan Lake. It was quite lovely to look at. And now we get to the dancers, starting off with Anastasia Abramova as both Odette and Odile. Now, in terms of these two roles, they really need a prima ballerina. Any ballerina who's danced the roles of Clara from The Nutcracker, Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, and even that of Giselle must prove herself to be absolutely captivating in this role. She not only has to be very precise as a dancer, but she also has to emote these two characters. Now, there have been so many cases in which Odette and Odile are done by the same ballerina, and there are also some productions in which Odette is done by one ballerina and Odile the other. And it's also a major challenge for any prima ballerina to not only dance the role of Odette, but also that of Odile, thus creating this juxtaposition of two female characters, one a heroine and one a villainess. And I thought that Anastasia Abramova as both Odette and Odile was absolutely gorgeous. As Odette, she managed to emit this purity, this lovely nature that she has about Odette, and she was also able to emit this type of innocence, frailty, and this grace that she managed to pull off so well. Everything she did as not only a dancer but also as an actress was so well done, and she really knew how to use that excellent figure to her advantage. And as Odile, she was able to make her cunning, catty, and simply put, kind of spiteful as a character. She was able to infuse a lot of malevolent mischievousness into this particular character that I was in utter awe. She was mesmerizing and so captivating as Odile that my jaw practically dropped. And she stood on her own 2 feet so magnificently. She really knew how to portray these two characters to the best of her abilities, and it's done so in a way that made her stand out superbly. Then we have Prince Siegfried, who was done by Timofey Fedorenko, and I thought that he did a very fine job with embodying Prince Siegfried. He was tall, he was an Adonis on stage, and he had this magnificence about him that made him all the more alluring. His charisma as a dancer made him stand out so well that I was practically invested in everything he did. Stealing the show as Rothbart was the gazelle-like Maxim Gurtovik, as his figure and his timing and precision were of the highest order. He was able to embody Rothbart with the appropriate amount of malevolence and at the same time a great amount of force, which made this character so intimidating yet all the more alluring. He was able to leap around the stage like a glorious gazelle, and his overall manner and his swagger were all the more evidence on how he managed to embody Rothbart. Oksana Mokaeva, who I also had a picture with and who I also had her autograph, was a wonderful and gorgeous queen. She had an elegance about her that made her not only alluring, but absolutely awesome to witness. She almost looked more like Prince Siegfried's older sister than his mother, with that youthful countenance, that tall and elegant physique, and that grace which she managed to emit. She was in her finest in this particular role, and I thought that her delicate manner on how she embodied this queen was of the highest order. She was absolutely magnetic and alluring as the queen that I practically had my eyes glued on her. Dmitry Abramov was a lot of fun as the court jester with his agile moves and his flair for humor. He was a very fine dancing actor from beginning to end, and his charisma certainly shows. The pas de trois work done by Anna Seregina, Tatiana Alpidovskaya, and Egor Burba was simply put magnificent and graceful. These three dancers had superb chemistry, and their timing was absolutely precise. The same thing I can say of not only Anna Seregina's and Tatiana Apodivskaya's performance as two of the little swans, but also that of Olga Pavlovich and Maria Viuk. Their ensemble work was absolutely graceful, and they showed a lot of elegance and enthusiasm with their performances as the four little swans that I was practically captivated by how well they managed to do their work. I also have to give major kudos to Nadezhda Prokopeva, Eleonora Chaligava, Konstantin Dunayev, Dmitry Polyakov, Tatiana Cherapanova, Ksenia Kazarchuk, Vilena Gerasimenko, Karim Mubarakshin, Bulat Gatin, Maxim Semonov, Andrei Ugaslov, Angelina Misharina, Alexei Ryumin, and Rostislav Densnitsky for doing fabulous jobs as an ensemble. Each of these dancers managed to do such magnificent work. They were precise, they were pristine in their techniques, and they had excellent timing all the way through. So overall, the dancers were absolutely amazing. But my special kudos definitely has to go to Anastasia Abramova, Timofey Fedorenko, and Maxim Gurtovik for their wonderful portrayals as Odette and Odile, Prince Siegfried, and Rothbart. And of course, the narration done by the storyteller Genie, portrayed by Marina Beniashvili, was lovely, charismatic, and it was just simply put rather alluring. She had this charisma that made her so attractive to not only the kids, but also the young at heart. She was so lovely as the storyteller Genie that I was rather in awe of everything she had to offer. So overall, what a fine evening it was to capture this iconic ballet by Tchaikovsky, with such great dancing and of course some lovely narration by the storyteller Genie. Everything went together so well. And for those of you who caught this particular production of Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, what did you think of it? Did you feel like the dancers were in their element in these roles? Especially that of Anastasia Abramova, Timofey Fedorenko, and Maxim Gurtovik? Did you feel like there was another dancer who stole the show? Or did you feel like there was something that just didn't really hold up? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in much later for my review of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker, also at the Berlin Urania. So until then, have a great day everybody and happy holidays!